Grand day, my business boss podcast family. This is my first live on my business boss podcast, and I want to talk to you today about imagery. You see me, I don't see you, but you see me. Imagery is very important. And hopefully this message will get across to someone who is mindful about things that we see. You know, I grew up in the 60s, so the things that I saw in the news a lot was about Watergate and some kind of crisis missile, the Iranian crisis. I forget others, but the thing that rang out most was Watergate, and also images about war, about World War II or something like that. So I want to talk to you about imagery and images. These things are very important because we're bombarded with imagery in the United States. Actually, YouTube is all about imagery. You don't know me, I don't know you. But it is about the actual conception of how things are processed, how they're processed in the mind. And images are very important because at the end of the day, unless you pick up this is a 4. This screen is 4 sides. It's a box. This screen is a box. So when you box yourself in, you get what comes from that box. We don't control the box. We access the box. Jack in the box, when you was little, Jack in the box, that's a box. So we access the box. So when we access the box, whose box is it? Is it your box? Did you create it? Or is it someone else's box? But whatever the box is, they control you. Because if I buy a box from Amazon and I get what's in the box, I create it because I ordered it. I create what's in the box, right? So when we go into other people's realms, meaning when we turn on the television, the vision screen. Did you know that, and I heard this from, shout out to Joe Madison, the Black Eagle. They said television was initially set up in order for us to be able to use it for educational purposes. And some organizations still do. I know in some classrooms, they use television for educational purposes. However, it was used for that purpose. It wasn't used for entertainment. And you can do your own research. But it was used for entertainment purposes at first. But of course, in the United States, we always find a way to create something other than something that'll make money. There's always that type of entity going on, energy going on. But imagery is very important, and if you're not teaching your children these things, unfortunately, they're going to be cast out into the world only to accept and belief is dead. Belief, all that is dead. But to accept somebody else's concept of what imagery is supposed to look like. I hate my tooth right here. Okay, so I'm gonna edit that out. But anyway, imagery is very important, and images are very important. And the first person who can talk about the first one who can teach the children about imagery is the parents. And if you're not teaching your children about this, then something's wrong. Because they're going to be liable for what they start to say and speak, and the things that come out of their mouth. They're going to be liable for that, and it's on you. It's on you. Okay? It's on you. Not me. It's on you. Okay. So imagery and images are very important, and we're in the new moon of Aquarius right now. Aquarius rules technology. Aquarius rules technology, and technology is what we're using right now. To even broadcast on YouTube, I'm using technology. Tricknology. I call it tricknology because someone else is always going to be showing you what their narrative is. So that's tricknology. I'm sorry, while I'm doing this, I'm trying to create another live stream. So I'm going live on both of my channels right now. So today's message is about images and imagery. This has been on my mind for a couple of days, so I decided I'm going to talk about it. Images are portrayals. If you go to a movie theater and if you ever look in the back of the theater up at the projector, you see the same image being projected from that screen from what you see, right? So I have heard that the brain is the eyes are the only part of the brain that you're able to see. So the image from the brain, I was born with what's called lazy eye. My right eye used to go all the way to the right. My right is your left. Used to go all the way to the right, and I had a couple of surgeries, and then somebody botched it up, and some days it looks crazy, and some days I'm good, but I don't care because I'm me. And you know what? I can see things that others can't, and I don't need glasses because these are blue blockers. So I just use these for purposes of UV rays or whatever. But images are very important, and so when I understand how to decipher images, I see it from my angle and you're going to see it from your angle. However, no matter which angle you see it from, it all comes out to be the same. It's a perception. And what is a perception? It's a something that comes before. Pre is something that comes before. Per is something that's a part of it. Okay? So, per our conversation today, I'm going to derive certain things out of this, certain facts, anecdotes, idioms, as we call it. You're going to get a message, and I'm the delivery of that message. So let's say, for example, I'm going to give you a little backstory. I was homeschooling my son, and I was teaching him about critical thinking. Because critical thinking is not something that's readily available in the school system today. So I was teaching him about critical thinking, and I got something came up. I came upon this website, and it had little cartoonized lessons on critical thinking, and I thought, wow, this is perfect. And shout out to Dick Gregory, Bye Dick Gregory, because he's the first person that I knew what critical thinking was. He's a very profound critical thinker. So rest in power, my brother, but he's still here. That's why I brought him up. Critical thinking is where you ask questions. There's 5 stages of critical thinking. 5. And it's where you start to channel and ask your children to ask questions. The first phase of critical thinking is an awareness that something may not necessarily be as stated. So you ask questions. When you ask questions, those questions are actually start opening up other avenues of what comes next. But the last part of critical thinking, because I want you to do your own critical thinking and then go and research this. The last stage of critical thinking is your conclusion. Before, the 4th stage is your analysis, because you're going to gain some insight. Once you gain the insight, then you can come up with an analysis. So I had a LifeLock. This commercial came on about LifeLock. I've fallen and I can't get up. If that's patented, I have no rights to that, and I don't claim any rights to it. So I used that as a lesson plan, part of my lesson plan for him. And I said, well, if you saw this on TV, because that's where we saw it, what would be your first impression? And he gave me his synopsis and his analysis or whatever. But what came to my mind was, wow, I'm learning just as much as he does. I've fallen and I can't get up. LifeLock. That's imagery. So now every time that commercial comes on, guess what? You're going to notice that imagery. You're going to hear it. You could be in a restaurant hanging out having drinks with your friends, and that LifeLock comes on. You're gonna see that image. It's imprinted in your mind. It's imprinted in your mind. And the only one that can change it is you. Okay? So, imagery is someone else's perception of their definition of what is real. They're going to let you see things from your perspective, just like I see things from my perspective when I put on these glasses. I see things from my perspective. And that is the technology of, it's so perfect, of the media, but it's so perfect that I'm doing this and we're in the new moon of Aquarius. I have Aquarius in my third house of communication. So it just makes sense that I'm doing this on the new moon in Aquarius. Images are the things that you cut out of the newspaper. Images are the things that you see when you're driving down the street and you're seeing a billboard on the side of the road. These are images. Images is me looking at me on two screens. These are images. Images are very powerful because when we watch what we call the news, NEWS, and also images are the words that we speak. Words have a certain vibration. So when I say news, what does that sound like? New. I bought me a new shirt. The image of that shirt. I saw the image of someone who looks like a black person, they call, hanging from a rope from a tree. That's a noose, right? They say they were hanging from a noose. Don't noose sounds like news? So when we start looking at the etymology of words, the images start to appear real clear. Keep it simple, stupid. So when you see someone else's box and you see that their perception is how they're going to program you to see what they see through their eyes. Don't you have eyes? Don't you got eyes? So you can see what they see from your perspective. It's an angle. What angle are you going to take? And that's what the media is about. I'm not going to concentrate on the news media. Because we got TikTok, we got IG, YouTube, all these are media. These are medias. Okay? What does media sound like? Medium. It sounds like meat. Don't media, the first part, what they call the prefix me, is me, and someone is turning me into meat. But to who? Meat. Meat can be when you open up that pretty green watermelon and you got that red meat, juicy meat. Or you can chop up a steak and it's red and sometimes juicy too. But that's media. So imagery is I am. You ever looked at it that way? I am, because the first 3 letters of image is IMA. But the good thing about how we learn about things is IMA gets turned into, sometimes letters get turned around so that the meaning don't always look the same. Okay? I'm having me a spritzer. I got some apricot. I have some port wine and some an apricot wine and some lemon. It's really good. So images controls your life. Now I know certain words can't be said on, certain channels, or they'll strike your channel. Trust me, I know. So when someone puts an image in front of you, they're putting a box. This is a box. This is the box I ordered my blue blockers that I have on from. It's a box. No matter how you turn it, it's a box, right? It's a rectangle box of what we've been taught. It's a box. So if I look at that box and I'm looking at you from a box, and I live in a box called a house, and my phone is a box, then I'm being boxed in. I have filed several lawsuits, and one thing we were taught is you want to learn how to you want to learn how to box the judge in. And the way you box the judge in is you ask certain questions. You ask questions that only the judge will know what you're doing by asking those questions, because the average person who comes in front of that judge don't ask certain questions. So they know if you ask this certain question, they know where you're going. Guess what they're going to do? They're either not going to answer it, or they're going to put you at the end of the list and say, when everybody's cleared out, put her on the docket. Bring her in, or him in. Because it's an image of a judge, a portrayal of a judge, an actor. Because at the end of the day, aren't we all doing this? We're all acting. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? You don't prepare to get on a video if you haven't prepared. You prepare to get on the video. Okay? Some people wing it like me. I just wing it because I'm just going to be me. But I'm going to say what I got to say. I don't give a fuck if YouTube strike it, because I'm not here for subscribers. I'm here to put the truth out. The truth could be your truth. This is my truth. But you're going to get something from it. Because our minds are busy. Constantly busy. Some people's minds so busy they can't sleep. That's why I called it busyness. Not B-U-S-I, B-U-S-Y. Business Boss Podcast. So when I look at myself, I can concentrate on certain things about myself, and I can portray it, and I can speak it, and then you're going to concentrate on the thing that I just spoke. That's an image. Because when you see me again, now all you're going to see is what I said, concentrating on myself, and that's all you're going to see. You may not even listen to the message that I said. You're going to listen to the thing that I pointed out. I was in sales for years, insurance sales. I sold a very intangible product, insurance. But I had to paint a picture. Because you're a great salesman when you can paint a picture and you can only point to the parts that you want that client to look at, because guess what? They're not going to look at anything other than what you pointed to. Because I got to paint an image. Because I got to make the sale. And this is what imagery is all about. So when we see things on the news and we see things on a billboard, this is how you use it like a bitch. I'm going to show you how to use it like a bitch. Don't get offended, because bitches come in all forms. It don't matter, male, female, it don't matter. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. This is how you use media like a bitch. And I'm not going to make this long, because I don't do a lot of, small talk. I'm going to get straight to the point and that's it. But I do have to build it up a little bit. So as I stated earlier, we're in a new moon of Aquarius. Aquarius rules what? Aquarius rules humanitarianism. It rules technology, but it also rules tricknology. Because we can always look at the positive side of an energy, a sign, but there's also a negative. But how do you turn that negative into the positive? Well, every day you look at the news, and I'm going to use the news media because that has been the pervasive and prevalent, consistent and constant stream of energy that has that has interrupted and invaded our life space since we've been on this planet. See, this planet we call Earth is all about imagery. It's about power. How do we get power? We get power through images. That's my perception. You may have yours. So when I look at the noose, when I was little, I grew up in the 60s. So, my mom always had the encyclopedia, the World Book Encyclopedia. So I'm turning the pages and I'm seeing people hanging from trees. But who filmed that? Like, who filmed that? Who was there as a camera person? We didn't have no cell phones. So there had to be someone from the media, to film that in order to get it to any Jet magazine, Time magazine, whatever the imagery was for the day. Somebody had to be there to film that, right? Let's go even further. So we talk about the images of what we call Jesus in Spanish and Jesus in the English language. Who was there to paint a picture? Who was there to use tools for painting a picture of this image of Jesus or Jesus? Now I'm going to stick with Jesus. Okay? Who was there to paint that picture? And who was there to get that picture circulating all these millennia, eons, or whatever you call it, eras? Who was there to do that? And how does a message not get convoluted after so many, after so many channels and streams? I'm just saying, I don't know everything, but these are the questions that I've asked when I was little. When I always wondered if someone was there to take a picture of that, why wouldn't they make it something that looked more like them to give them power? Why would they make it look like me or someone else? Why would they do that? Because it's about imagery. So if I can make you believe something, and if you can believe it, and I can make you believe it on a frequency that's real, that's in real time constantly, and I can keep shoving that image down your throat, then I can make you believe anything I want. And he who has the gold controls the gold makes the rules. You ever heard of that? He who controls the gold makes the rules. But it's also he who controls the goals. GOALS. So imagery can make you kill yourself. Imagery can make you jump out and decide I'm going to become a millionaire in 2 days because I just saw something that struck a chord with me. Imagery can make you feel good. It can make you feel not so good. It's powerful. And if you're not teaching your children about imagery, you're not a good parent. Kick rocks. Because what you need to show your children is when you open up and turn this screen on, you're just seeing people you never knew. We don't even know exist. They can interview someone on the news, but if we never seen them in real life, how do we know who that is? We're going by what someone said. In law, they call that hearsay. Okay? It's just like your image of your birth certificate. You weren't of sound mind and body. 4 elements to a contract is, the first element is you have to be of sound mind. Well, if you're an infant, how are you of sound mind? You didn't know anything about that. You going by hearsay. Somebody else presented that to you as an image, and you continue to use that throughout your life, and you take it as someone else's word. Back in the 70s, they called it word is bond. Okay, so the birth certificate is an image, and you don't know who created it. You don't even know if your parent had anything to do with it. It came to you after you became aware of something. But let's get back to imagery. So if I want to control you, and I got all the media to do it with, I'm going to concentrate on that media. I'm going to concentrate and focus with lightning precision, light speed, light whatever. I'm going to focus that on what my agenda is. And it's a good time because, we're in an election season. Now, what better example of this is it than election season? I'm Donald Trump. Oh, and I approve this message. Well, I don't. Click. Okay, I'm going to edit that out because I know YouTube's not going to allow that. But it's an image. Do you know Donald Trump personally? How do you know that's him? Who cares, really? But I'm just saying. Are you going to let these images of people you don't know, places you never seen, things you never heard of, control you? You really going to do that? We're in 2024. You're going to really do that, y'all? I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know everything. But are you really going to do that? And are you going to pass that down to your children? Really? I'm just saying, I don't know. So imagery is I am. That's what image is. I am. So if I am, let me create my own image. Maybe I'll use some of yours to create mine. That's how you use it like a bitch. Let's say you go to a job every day. But that's not really what you really want to do. You're just going to use that job to get you to the next level. So what if my next level is I want to be a rap artist and I need a microphone, or I need to purchase a synthesizer or a guitar. Well, I'm going to work on a job and I'm going to work on that job and I'm going to go to that place and deal with their bull crap. And I'm going to use that to get me what I need to get to my ultimate goal, which is to make my music. And when I fulfill that mission, I'm going to drop your ass. So you do the same thing with imagery. So I heard some people say they'll turn on the news, they'll see what they're talking about because they want to understand the mindset of what's happening. They want to understand what's going on the other end. So now how are you going to use that information? For yourself, for your own good, for your own advantages. After all, don't do what they say, do what they do. And that's how you use it as a bitch. See, other people can say, oh, if you eat that, it's going to kill you. It's got all these pesticides on it. And then they show an image of, a cow, what they used to call it, foot to mouth. Cows, some kind of cow disease, foot to mouth disease. And they show some kind of image. And that's imprinted in your mind. How do you use that to your advantage, though? If you're looking at a news or a box, and you're not taking that information and you're not using it for your advantage, you're lost. You're a sheep. But if you know how to transmute and transform and turn that shitty key around to what you want it to be, the news become your gold. Use the news. It's free. You got to have a subscription for YouTube. TikTok, you have to have internet. You have to pay for that. You can turn on any TV, and as long as you got an antenna, which we used to use a hanger back in the day and put a little aluminum foil at the tip of the hanger, and we get real good reception. That's free. Do you know you can become very wealthy very quick. Just turning on the news and making that your bitch. Do you understand? Am I telling you something that you don't know? No. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But we do forget certain things when we come into this earth realm. We forget certain things. Use what's free. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. Use what's free to get you where you want to be. And when you get where you want to be, you use that to where you are. Use it for where you now are, where you now is. Use it now for where you is. I'm going to give an example, right? All right. So in the beginning of this audio, I said, I have a nice wine here. I got some avocado, my bad. I have some apricot, some port wine, some lemon juice from a real lemon, and I have some other kind of wine that's apricot. Okay? Now, this is what's in it. This is what you'll see next time somebody say apricot. If you see this video, I've just programmed your mind that the next time you see or hear the word apricot, this is what you're going to think of. That's how powerful images are. Okay? So I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm going to allow it to resonate because I grew up in the 60s. In the 60s, the music back in the day was leave something to the imagination. Let people see their images based on the vibe, the feeling that they get from this music. Let them have enough, let them see the image for themselves. Don't give them everything. Just put enough out there to make a suggestion. And then, because again, this is all stuff we all know. We just forgot. And those who are in the power of creating a reality is there to help us stay forgotten. They're there to keep us in the forget mode. Did you forget 8 years ago that when you elected certain people who were already selected, that we thought they were going to do certain things because of the images that they portrayed? Do you get bombarded with commercials when you're going to a YouTube page? Do you get bombarded with a commercial about someone who's running for office? Is that not imagery? Do you turn on your local radio and you hear messages of those who are so-called running for office and they bombard your radio that you can't listen to your music? See, imagery comes in certain forms. Written imagery is very important, and spoken imagery. That's why we have what's called guided meditation and mind control and people who put you in a trance. Spoken words and written words are very important. But if you learn how to use it to your advantage, you become the one who, you turn that shit around, and then you become the one who has the gold. Someone told me years ago, they told us about, I was in a conference, and they told us about, credit repair. You look at credit repair is deep, y'all. Credit repair is deep. I'm going to tell you something. This is spiritual, because it's taken. When you get a piece of paper, it's a box, right? It's a paper, it's a box. And then there's something written on that box, something written on it. And then you accept what's written on it as truth. You accept what's written on that page as it relates. You accept it as it's relating to you. You go to the doctor and you talk to the doctor. The doctor, they say it's a doctor. And the doctor say, well, we have to take an x-ray. And they bring you an x-ray and it says you have a screw in your left chamber of your heart. Well, did you ever feel that? Did you feel anything? You probably came in there for, my nose keep being, congested. and they bring you, and they say, well, let's take an image, and they bring you an x-ray, and the x-ray shows you got a screw in your left ventricle of your chamber. But how do you know that's your x-ray? You knew they took something, well, you assumed they took some images of you, and then they come back and they bring you this. How do you know that's your x-ray? And they say, well, we have to operate. We gotta get this out, or you're not gonna be here in the next 6 weeks. But that's imagery. Understand? So these are the things that, we accept, because for some, the best part of us wants to accept that people have the right agenda. But remember, Earth is not it's not Earth itself. It's just the energy of Earth is about control and power. Okay? And if I can control you by what I can make you see from my perception, my eyes, when I put these shades on, shout out to the movie They Live, then I can make you believe and accept what I see for you. Propaganda is real, and it's so powerful till if you don't know what you're seeing, you will be subject to bars. Back to the LifeLock example. So when I was homeschooling my son, we saw the LifeLock commercial. So the lady's down, she fell, but she just so happened to have on a necklace. Just so happened, to have on a necklace, and it had a little, button that you can push, and it says beep. And she says what she says, and someone comes to help her. Isn't that an ideal situation? Like, I don't have nothing here. If I fall and can't get up, I better have my phone on me, or I better know how to crawl. But that was an image that was portrayed. Very powerful. Because it made me want to help that lady as a child. I don't know nothing what all this stuff is about, but it made me want to help that lady. Those things are still within us. I don't care if you're 25, 65, or 105. That little kid, that little child, compassion is within us. And we want to believe. We want to accept. We almost feel like we know these people that's constantly being bombarded. But that's the power of imagery. If I see you often enough, then I'll start believing. If I see you often enough, and you're saying the same thing every time, that's called consistency. Then I'm going to start accepting you as who you say you are. But how do you know who these people are? How do you know anything? Everything is AI. I'm sitting here recording in my natural state, but by the time I put this somewhere else, I could have edited so much till only the person who saw this, which is the one or two people who come to see the live, they will never know that this is the same person. If I start streaming it on other platforms, I could turn myself into something totally different. Because we can be who we are, or what we want to. We can be whoever we want to be behind the box, when we're in the box. We can be whoever we want ourselves to be when we're behind the scene. Okay? We can be whoever we want to be. So I'm not going to belabor imagery, because I'm going to let you use your own imagination to come to whatever perception or conclusion that you want to. But critical thinking is very important. It's very important. So if you're going to homeschool your children and you're going to teach them anything, what do they have in school? They have books. What's in books? When someone write a book and it has no pages, no pictures in it, that's a spoken word. It's a written word. That's very powerful, because now you might just start seeing that instead of a word, a picture, now you can see a group of words, and that small group of words infected you just like it would if you had seen a picture. It's just as powerful. It's about what makes you feel. So if I can make myself feel the way I really want to feel by using your free content, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn your free content into what I want it to be. I'm going to manipulate it, and I'm going to control it, and I'm going to send it out there. And I just did it for free. Use my shit. I don't give a. Use it. Just don't let it use you. Okay? And that's the key. Use what's out here. Don't let it use you. If you driving down this, the street 2:30 a.m. and you somewhere you ain't supposed to be, but you know what you're there for. And you see the young pretty girl walking down the street up and down, and that's an image. And I got an itch. Or a male. I don't see too many males doing this, but you have an idea of what you're there for, or you wouldn't have been there at that time. You had an image in your mind that took you there. Right? Or you wouldn't have been there. So you got the image and you got an itch. So I'm going to go and I'm going to find the one and see the one who helped me with what I got to do. You're going to use the itch. You're going to use the bitch to scratch your itch. But you use the bitch. It could be a male, female, dog, pony, and you let the bitch. You don't let the bitch use you. After all, you got to pay for this, you know what I'm saying? But if you can use an image and you can turn that image to what you want it to be for free, bars, that's what it's got to be. Do it. Can't nobody stop you. So at the end of all this, I'm going to say, why do you even turn on a screen? What do you get from turning on a screen? I mean, you ain't got to watch me. I'm just saying what's been on my mind for the last couple of days, and this has to be done. So I have to fulfill that mission because that's what I'm here for. But why are you turning on any screen? Do you not get enough satisfaction in your own life that you can't walk out and see a tree or see your neighbor and talk to your neighbor or see the bird or the beautiful black and blue butterfly that just flew by me yesterday? To use those as also, those are the biggest and the best images right there, because it's not in a box. But if it is in a box, the box is so expansive till you don't even know you're in a box. Some people say we're in a holographic simulation. I used to be a computer programmer. That makes sense to me. Because everything that I used to program, they told us no matter how many words you use, they're only gonna be ones and zeros when it is processed through the computer. But we're not a computer. Shout out to Twilight Zone. I forget the episode. I think it's called "We're Not Alone." I'm a Twilight Zone nerd. People are alike everywhere. That's one episode of the Twilight Zone. I will tell you if you want to kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about here with imagery. People are alike all over. Episode. That's the Twilight Zone episode. So nevertheless, hopefully this message finds someone who it resonates with. Hopefully I've said enough that it doesn't make it long and boring and I don't sound like I'm preaching. But imagery is important, and if you don't understand imagery, and I would say go and watch this movie that came out in the early 80s called They Live. Yeah. Images rule our lives if you allow it. See, I'm free, so I don't worry about stuff. Ain't nothing coming to me. I'm free of all of that. I use it as a bitch, which is why I got this idea to do this live on images. And it's real simple. Just always know, don't do what they say do what they do. So why do you turn on a screen? Any screen. Why do you do it? What's your intent when you do it? And how can I use that bitch as my bitch? For free. Think about getting a bitch for free. Damn. That's some heavy shit. Solid. Peace out. Subscribe to the Business Boss podcast. And there's more content coming. And when I say busyness, I'm not talking about business as we look at it as in the world of commerce. I say busyness because we are in a busy world. And our minds are always busy. And we turn on a screen, and that's a busy screen when we turn it on. Whether it be a phone screen, a computer screen, it's busy. Something might pop up, an ad block, commercial. It's busy, y'all. But use it to your advantage. Make it your bitch. Don't make it you their bitch. That's all I'm saying. Peace out. Cheers. High vibes. Lives here at the Business Boss channel. One love.